All right, gang. What is up? I don't know why I had this funky background here. Hmm. Oh, that's why. There we go. All right, gang. What is up? Coach Darius here. I think this is probably my first Facebook Live to my personal page here. And so what we're going to be doing here is I will be joined a little bit later by Coach Leah, and we're going to be talking about today's topic. It's going to be the vegan journey and how to lose weight as one with Coach Leah. And so I want to thank you guys for being here. My little guy, little big guy, excuse me. Um, so thank you guys for being here tonight, spending your time. And so we're going to give it a few minutes before we get going. But in the meantime, just know if you guys are commenting, please, let's make sure we head to StreamYard.com/Facebook. Okay, so that way you have your comments don't come up as just a Facebook user, but we can address you by name. All right, when you are doing that, that would be awesome. All right, so we're going to keep rocking. Looks like we got some 12 people. So let me know. Type your name in the comments. Okay, you can go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, and you're literally just going to click a box. And what happens with that is that you don't come up on our end as a Facebook user. You come up as a name, and so that way we can address you accordingly. We are big knowing names here at the old JCF, so let's make sure that we do that. All right. And so today, what we're going to be talking about is the vegan journey and how to lose weight as one. I think this is a very hot topic. Many people that I speak to, they are very interested, or some sort of have tried to go plant-based before, or is currently transitioning into that. So I think we have some real life experience, a lot of perspective with doing that and doing it at a successful level once we have our guest on tonight. All right, gang. So please type your name in the comments. All right. Let me know that you're here, where you are checking in from. That would be awesome, so I can shout you out. All right, gang. So again, we'll give it about another minute and a half. Hopefully, each of you has had a really great weekend. Cara D, what is cracking? All the way from Cali. Nice. One of our original green bloods. Hey, Kizzy, where you checking in from, Kizzy? Awesome. Awesome. How's the weather out in Cali, Cara? I'm sure it's pretty phenomenal. Okay. Kizzy, let us know where you checking in from. All right, gang. Jersey City. Awesome. Have you ever done one of our sessions before? I don't know. Sometimes we have aliases on Facebook, so please don't take it personally if you've done one of our programs and it's not, because I don't remember having a Kizzy do or taking any of our sessions or anything. Thanks for tuning in. I'm not mad at that. Mayday, what's up? Long time no see. Just saw you in the session, Mayday. It's great to see you. No, but interested. Awesome sauce, Kizzy. So we can definitely be able to help you with that. Also vegan. Awesome. Eric, my main man. What is up, Eric? Thanks for tuning in. All right, gang. So we are in about 30 seconds, we're going to get started, okay? And so, as I said, we're going to be going live with Coach Leah. We're going to be talking about the vegan journey and how to lose weight as one, okay? And so this prompted, I get, man, I've been blessed and honored to speak with a ton of people over the last several years. We just celebrated 12 years during the pandemic, so I'm really blessed and thankful for that. And shout out to all of my current members. Shout out to all of my past members, and all of our prospects and those that's just been kind of on the fence about JCF. Thank you all. So we've had a privilege of working with over 3,200 people in that time, and being able to have tons, many thousands, literally thousands of conversations, and seeing where people are. And so this is something that comes up a lot. So hopefully we can deliver a tremendous amount of feedback, a tremendous amount of value here for each of you. And so with that being said, we're at the 6-minute mark. Still sore. House workout. Very welcome. Mayday. We got some new people, so be careful with how sore you are, okay? We don't want to run anyone away. All right, gang. So with that being said, I want to bring in, so Leah is, where do I start? Leah started with JCF back in 2012 as a member. She did it for a little bit, and I think there was some challenge. She would share her story, but then she had to stop once school had started for her son. And then she started back again in 2014 when we were launching our Rock My Skinny Jeans challenge, which has been super popular in our community and those that have come through that program. And so she started back then, and since 2014 has been super consistent. Up to this point, she has completed the most workouts in JCF history. Just pulled those numbers, 1,325. Hoorah! Huge round of applause for Leah there. 1,325 JCF workouts. And so I think she has a lot to share on consistency, not just getting to a goal, but maintaining that goal, because that's really where the work starts. And so we're going to, I'm going to be bringing her in, and she's going to, we're going to have a conversation. Just going to happen to have this dialogue in front of you guys, and hopefully she can shed a tremendous amount of light on, again, being a vegan and the challenges that she has experienced, and also how to not just lose weight while being a vegan, but also maintain it. All right. And so with that being said, let's get a huge drum roll. All right, gang. And so let's bring Leah into the stream here. Leah, what is cracking? How are you doing, my friend?
Hello. How are you? I'm doing well, thank you.
Awesome. I want to thank you for taking this time to share some light on our JCF community and those beyond that's looking to, I think what your story, I think there would be a tremendous amount of benefit whether someone is vegan or not, or vegetarian or not. I think the one thing you have been able to do that's been pretty eye-opening is being consistent, right? Because it's one thing to get to a goal, it's another thing to maintain that goal, and you have done that with past that sort of test with flying colors. And so I'm excited to speak to you tonight. I'm excited to being able for you to share your experience with everyone that's here. Ready to rock and roll?
Yeah, sounds good. Let's do it.
Awesome. So if I'm not mistaken, you started as a referral, and don't kill me, but remind me who referred you to JCF.
Yes, it was my very good friend, Leahs Behari.
Yes, Leahs.
Yeah, we've known each other since middle school.
Oh, wow.
And we both wound up in Jersey City, and she had been coming to JCF for a little while. So she, asked me to come along. So I came for the summer. But then in September, at the time I was a single mother. So school started, and it was just too much. I felt at the time to, get him up in the morning and get him ready for school, and also, work out early in the morning. So I had stopped. Mm-hmm. And then, over the next couple of years, I wasn't really working out as much. And then as soon as I started getting your emails about the Rock My Skinny Jeans in 2014, that was my opening. That was my opportunity. So I came back.
Awesome. And by the way, speaking of Rock My Skinny Jeans, we started challenges. Our first challenge was 2010, January of 2010. So we, up to this point, we've been doing challenges for 10 years. We have done over 50 challenges. We do about 4 a year, but we have some other intermittent where we did a little bit more. And so by the way, Leah's been the first multi-time winner of our challenges too. So, like I said, you know a little bit something about achieving a goal, and just kind of sticking with it. And so I really want to spotlight that. And so, which to give a little bit backstory, and so seeing that over the last several years and seeing the consistency and seeing the drive and seeing the push, those intangibles that I really like to look for, that's what prompted me, kind of, made me approach you about becoming a JCF coach, which at the end of this month would be an entire year. It's funny how things come around and how fast that was. And definitely the pandemic has been weird. I don't want to touch on that too much tonight, but it just kind of led me to doing that. And so with that being said, what was like your introduction into exercise or fitness? Was this something where you played sports when you were younger, or tell me a little bit and tell the people about that?
Okay, so I did not play sports when I was younger. I was very uncoordinated. I think I was on the freshman girls basketball team for about 2 weeks before I left. I quit. But, there was gym class. That was kind of my introduction to weight training, because we did have a weight facility at my school. So they just, did teach us how to use the different weight machines. And then in college, I would run around the track or on the treadmill, a lot of cardio. Once I became an adult outside of college, I joined a gym, but again, just spin classes, kickboxing. I would play around on the weight machines, just light stuff. They had like a women's area. So that was kind of my, where I would stick to. So not really heavy into the weight training. It was just a lot of cardio, running, kickboxing, that kind of thing.
Awesome. And so now, were you always consistent with your exercises? And if not, like, what are the reasons you felt like you weren't?
I was not very consistent. So yeah, I think it was just, sometimes I would just let life get in the way. So if, something was going on, I just kind of fell off. Nothing really in particular. I was just, it was not a focus of mine prior.
Got it. Awesome. And so what now, like, I think for many people that would probably be hard to believe, considering that you have been super consistent, since you've been with JCF, and, again, attending over 1,300 sessions. Like, I think someone would probably feel like, like that person has always been that way. So I'm curious to know, like, if you can share, what do you feel was the shift in your sort of, I have my reasons when I think, someone can make that transition, but I would love to hear and share that with, our viewers here on what was the transition with you going from kind of not taking it so serious to like really being ingrained in it, and this has become, a part of who you are.
Yeah, I think it was just the whole JCF universe that kind of drew me in, because it's a community, and they're, the coaching, the accountability, it was just kind of a whole package versus me having to figure things out on my own. So it just was easier to keep coming back every day. And plus JCF, you come in, well, especially when we were at the gym, you would come in and not know what to expect. So it was always keeping you on your feet, and it was always interesting. Yeah. So I liked that it was, you would change it up every day. So
okay. So the variety of the workouts, the community and the support around that.
Yes.
What else did you mention? The coaching, and
the accountability.
And if we can drill down a little bit, like being a coach, and maybe now that you are a coach, you maybe you know the importance of a coach. But someone and myself, I played sports since I was 5 through college. And so I've always been an athlete. That's always been kind of my base around fitness, has always been around performance and getting better at a certain sport, right? And so I've been blessed to have some like tremendous coaches in my life, that has really just kind of shaped who I am, and I'm very thankful for that. Just kind of, especially with around mindset and different things like that. So I would love, like you mentioned coaching. What was it about the coaching that took you from someone that's been inconsistent to someone that's been like the total opposite end of the spectrum, with being like, it's almost like the sun rising. With sunrise, I know Leah's going to be there to get her workout in, so to speak, right? So, like, what has been the transition for you, and if you can speak more when you say coaching, what does that look like? What does that mean?
Well, I mean, the coaching also kind of went hand in hand with the accountability piece. So it was just, for me, it's just really helpful to have somebody else on the outside looking and just like almost like a non-biased, because like I can get in my head sometimes and just, but like a non-biased point of view. Also, I remember if I didn't come to a workout for, maybe a week, I would get an email like, hey, I haven't seen you. Where have you been?
Yeah.
And, it was just, the extra boost that I needed to get back into the gym until it became just part of my routine. So it's, not even a second thought anymore.
And I want to drill deep there too, because I just sent a post, and I've been speaking to a few people about the consistency. I posed the question like, what is it that you're struggling with? And so I get that. That's the one thing, consistency. And if you can really drill down and share, like, what is it, because I think that becomes airy fairy when it, just kind of stepping into it. So if you can talk about, maybe, is there anything which you're changing or shifting in your environment to make that a real thing? Is that a mindset thing? Like, has it been drilling deeper and going on your reason why you're doing this? Like, if you can just share a little bit and peel that onion a little bit more, I think that would be helpful for anyone that's watching this.
Sure. I think, well, I mean, I've been with JCF for so long now that, like you said, it's just, the sun rises and then I come to, it's not even a second thought anymore. But in the beginning, yeah, it was definitely a struggle. It was just definitely changing my mindset about, wanting to be a fit person or whatever, quote unquote, thinking about my why did I want that? Why am I coming every day? So yeah, it was just kind of tuning in to why I wanted to be there, and just, and you've said this a million times, trusting the process, just like struggling along, just knowing that eventually I would get there, which, obviously I'm there at this point with the consistency.
Awesome. And so just kind of, if we can go back to 2014, I'm curious to know, like, what were your goals back then? And then, like, how has your goals changed? And then I want to start speaking about your journey as a vegan. Okay. Mm-hmm.
So my goals back then, and this was, it seems like such a long time ago, but it really was weight loss. I wanted to, drop maybe 10, 15 pounds. I wanted to feel more confident, look better in the clothes I was wearing. So that was really the motivator when I signed on for the Rock My Skinny Jeans back then. But after all of these years, my why has really evolved. It's not about looking a certain way. I have kind of accepted the fact that, you know, my body is my body and it's not gonna conform to what, you know, I think is the ideal or what, you know, everybody else might think is the ideal body.
Yeah. That's
you know,
powerful. And I think we need to, I don't want to drill down on that, but that's powerful and
Mhm.
something I think is important to discuss at a later time.
Yeah.
I love that. But finish, I'm sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, I had to, you know, over these years, I've definitely learned to give up that notion of, you know, perfection, but getting into the gym and striving for, you know, my goals now are just, you know, getting stronger, lifting heavier. That sort of thing is what gives me my confidence now, knowing that I can, you know, pick up the, you know, pair of 60-pound dumbbells to squat with and, you know, do a bunch of reps. That's, you know, that makes me excited.
Yeah. And that makes my heart smile. I like to lift the heavy weights as well. Awesome. And so what I want to do is sort of transition into your vegan journey and what that looked like, what that was. As I shared before we got on, my wife is you know, she's looking to, and I think is something eventually like my family will do. So I'm kind of like, I'm curious to learn this as well. You know, I believe we never should stop learning. And so this is a little bit selfish. I'm trying to learn from the expert. And so I'm thankful to be able to have you in my corner when I do make this change. And so with that being said, like, if you can share what was, you know, kind of transitioning now to like the vegan journey. And so what was your nutrition like growing up and then as a young adult versus now? So if we can start with what was that like growing up?
So I am Filipino. My mother would cook very traditional Filipino dishes when I was younger. So while there was vegetables incorporated, it is very meat heavy, pork heavy, lots of oils. And then you're always eating white rice with, like, every meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, there's white rice. So that was a lot of what I grew up with. And that's, you know, even rice nowadays, even though I 90% of the time will eat brown rice, that's like my comfort food. Transitioning into a young adult, like once I went to college and after college, you know, was on my own, I did not really watch what I ate. There was, you know, a lot of junk food, fast food, and then in between that, I was dieting. So that was just a lot of restriction, salads, not a lot of eating. So it was like a lot of bouncing back and forth between those two.
I got you. And
so not a lot of in between.
Kind of like one thing to the next, you're saying, like more from one end to the other.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so Leah, what made you become a vegan?
So I was in that stage where I was just eating a lot of meat and a little bit too much fast food. And I had gained a little bit of weight. So a little bit of my motivation, not all of it, was to lose weight. But also I was just feeling like mentally foggy, a little, you know, I'm not going to say depressed. Depressed is not the right word, but down, like just in a bad mood all the time, moody, foggy.
And this was something that was going on. That was like a perpetual thing, or was it something that it was just like this aha moment, so to speak?
Yeah, it was a little perpetual, but like, I don't know how it struck me, but it just did dawn on me that it was like, you're eating, you know, a lot of meat and a lot of fast food. You need to make a change.
Gotcha.
So I, you know, and you know me, I'm like, I wouldn't say I'm type A, but I'm very like strict to the book.
Yeah, I would say you're type A, but it's okay. It's all good.
So I, you know, once I and I heard about the vegan diet when I was in college. There were a lot of people where I went to college who were practicing vegans. So I was like, I'm going to give it a try. I'm not even going to go vegetarian. I'm going to, go full out plant-based, no eggs, no dairy. So, yeah, I basically jumped in.
So it went from eating meat straight to no animal products at all.
Exactly. Yeah.
And was that like an overnight thing? You had this thing on Wednesday, on Thursday, no more.
Yeah. Yep.
Awesome.
That was
and
it.
How long has it been since you've been vegan? When was that?
I don't remember exactly, but it's been close to 15 years. So
wow.
before it was trendy. Yeah.
I was just gonna say before it was cool and sexy to do. Okay, cool. Now, if you can, do you remember what were? I guess that wasn't many, because I always believe there's a plethora of emotions and triggers and things that lead to a decision. But even though you made that decision right there in that time, like, if you can, what was your, some of the initial steps you took to make that transition? And maybe if you can shed some light with someone that's looking to transition into plant-based.
So I would probably recommend not doing it the way that I did. I mean, I think it's fine to jump both feet into the water, but I didn't really do my research. So I would say if, this is something you're thinking about, research it first. I just completely, threw caution to the wind and jumped in. Because, it is a little bit harder to get protein, especially, with JCF, we've done a bunch of programs and meal plans where, you want to get a good amount of protein. So that is something that you really need to know what your protein sources are. Because if you can be plant-based, you can be vegan, but you can also be a junk food vegan. You can eat potato chips, you can eat French fries, you can eat cookies and cake that you find that are vegan.
The vegan Oreos.
But right, exactly.
I got you.
So,
I got you.
Yeah.
And can you share a little bit on that thought process? Kind of like what you call the junk food vegan versus more of a holistic approach. Can you just kind of briefly give any differences for anyone that may be tuning in?
Yeah, well, obviously the junk food vegan, and especially now, it's so, it's so convenient. You can go to your, ShopRite, which, they have a whole aisle of health foods where you can, get plant-based proteins and whatnot. But it's so easy, if you're not thinking about it, to fall into a junk food trap. You can go to Burger King and they have, a Beyond Meat burger.
Yeah.
But you don't know how they're cooking it.
Yeah.
You don't know what they're cooking it in. So it's like, you can get that with the French fries and the Coke, and then, you might be technically eating a vegan meal, but is it really that healthy for you? So it's become just so convenient.
And with that being said, Leah, can you, maybe someone that may be kind of in that trap, is there anything that you can recommend for them to eat more? Because you're someone I've seen develop a tremendous amount of lean muscle, being vegan and those sorts of things. And so if there's anything you can share on someone on how to avoid those traps, and maybe some good sources, because this is the biggest thing that I hear all the time, whether someone is vegan or not vegan, is getting enough protein. And so if you can just share a little bit briefly on how some things they can, anyone that's plant-based, what they can do to get some good protein options would be awesome.
Right. So, I, through JCF and through all of the programs that I've been through with JCF, I've learned that unless you're cooking it at home, you really don't know what's in your food. So I've, begrudgingly learned how to cook. So, I eat a lot of tofu. Tofu for some people is a little controversial because of the soy. But I feel like in moderation, for me at least, it's become a really staple part of my diet with the protein, beans. I am a proponent of those fake meats like the Beyond Burger, and there are so many others now, like Impossible. But like, my thing is, unless I'm cooking it at home, I don't know what else is in it, because I can read the label and see the macros that they print on the label and know that, okay, this fits in with my meal plan, and but if I'm eating it out, then it becomes a little questionable.
Got it. Awesome. And so what has been your biggest struggle what was the biggest struggle you had as a new vegan? And if you can shed any light on that, some things to maybe keep an eye out for.
Yeah, and this is actually something I hear a lot of people tell me when when they learn that I'm vegan. They'll always say, but I could never give up cheese. So that, I will tell you, that was a huge struggle when I first started out, was giving up the cheese.
Okay.
But
how'd you do it?
Well, I just
willpower.
willpower through that. But
so with cheese, would you say cheese you would say was the biggest struggle for you as a new vegan?
Yes. Okay. Yes.
And now, like, opportunity to pay it forward. We big on community here at JCL. And so create community, create happiness is one of our core values. And so with that being said, opportunity to pay it forward. What is one or two things that you wish someone would have told you as you were making the transition to vegan?
I wish that somebody had kind of taught me how to eat a balanced vegan diet, because it is very easy to go very carb heavy with a vegan diet, just because any proteins that you are consuming comes along with carbs. Tofu is made from soy, and that automatically has a little bit of carbs that comes with it. So yeah, just eating a balanced vegan diet would be the number one thing. And also, I would say something that I didn't do until I came to JCF was start supplementing with protein shakes. So I would say you need to experiment, or just do a taste test and find yourself a good vegan protein shake that you like, because that is key.
Awesome. This is why I normally have a pad to write things down, and I don't have one. And I just had a question that I just forgot. Are you a fan of vegan protein bars? Kizzy had a question, Leah. And are you a fan of any vegan protein bars? And if so, is there, what would you recommend?
So, just like the regular protein bars out there, most of them have like a lot of added sugar to make them taste good. So I tend to stay away from them. There is one that I do eat once in a while. It's called No Cow. The No Cow bars. The consistency is a little weird. It's a little almost like fudgy, but I like the macro profile of them. It's like 20 grams of protein. Most of the carbs is from fiber, so it's not too carb heavy.
No cow. I like that name.
Yes.
Awesome. And so, Leah, I remember you mentioned about someone giving you more balanced meals, just kind of giving you some more insights on that. So can you share what a balanced meal may look like? And if you can give some actual examples, what that may look like, that would be great. I know I'm putting you on a spot, but hey, we always grow with a little bit of pain
Right.
here.
So I guess what I had, well, I'll just tell you what I had for dinner because I feel like it's slightly balanced. And I actually had the same thing for breakfast. Just because I tend to cook like one or two things during the week and eat it all week because, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of cooking. So last night I made like a brown rice mushroom risotto. So it's just brown rice, vegetable stock, onions, mushrooms that just kind of cooked for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then to that, I had some roasted broccoli, and then I added a portion of corn. It's like a fake chicken with corn with a Q.
Okay.
So that's basically what I had. I had some carbs with the brown rice. I had broccoli, like a lot of broccoli for the vegetable, and then my protein portion of the fake chicken.
Awesome. So is essentially you have your protein, you have your veggie, you have your carb, which is like super perfect, super simple. And the cool thing about that is that you are really eliminating or minimizing, I want to say, a lot of those trace macronutrients, right? So like you said, with proteins, with a lot of plant-based proteins, you also get some fats in there, you get some carbs. So you don't have this thing of a lean sort of only protein sort of option. And so that's really great. So I think anyone that may be watching this, it's essential. Have a protein, have a vegetable, have a carb or a fat, especially if you're trying to lose weight, and really not sneaking in a lot of those macronutrients that way. So, Leah, thank you for that. I want to transition to speak about, I'm a huge proponent of mindset and identity shifts. And I think it's the only way where this stuff lasts, period. If not, you're going to continue to have your day one. And you're someone that has had one day one, and you're rocking on your 1326, right? And so if you can, I want to shift to speak about this. So what we're going to do is going to seem like we're kind of going back a little bit. But I want to kind of bring people through your journey of just consistency as well, and how you've been able to, the work and the work is going to be in the process, right? And so you've been able to be diligent. So now it's only reasonable for you to be at a place where you are achieving results because you've been diligent with the process. And so I want to touch on that. I have a series of questions and, talking points that we'll discuss around that. And so with that being said, like, do you remember when you started back in 2012? Do you remember what it was that what your biggest struggle was before joining JCF? I know it's been a while now.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I think my biggest struggle, honestly, was kind of, forever I always wanted to drop, that last 10, 15 pounds, like that little bit of vanity weight. So I was always struggling with that, but more so, now that I look back, it was just really finding somewhere where I felt like I fit in and could be consistent. Like that's, I didn't have that up until JCF.
Got it. And what was the difference? Like what like, I know you touched on it, but what was that thing that you were looking for? Are you aware of it, or it was just like it's something you would feel once you would experience it,
Honestly, now thinking back over all the years, I really think it has been the JCF community that has kept me here, because like I've belonged to, different gyms and visited different studios, but I have never experienced anything like the community of JCF. I've had, I enlisted a personal trainer for, a little while, and he was, giving me workouts and helping me along, but that didn't compare to what I was getting with JCF.
Got it. Okay, cool. And so it sounds, I guess I kind of gathered this. So my question was, has JCF been like your longest stint of exercise or, fitness?
Yes, it definitely has been.
Awesome. And I'm going to force you to, let's drill a little bit more of like, what was the difference between like personal trainer? I think a lot of people think, personal trainer, I get this personalized sort of attention, of course it's going to work. Like, what do you feel like, what was different between like working with the one-on-one one-on-one client for this individual versus JCF and being in a group setting and those sorts of things?
Yeah, that, I'm trying to think. It just, well, it was definitely different. I honestly didn't feel like I got a lot out of the personal training. He would just give me like, write up a plan for me, and we would go from machine to machine to machine, but I didn't feel like I was actually learning anything. I was just going through the motions, and it didn't really click in my head.
Awesome. Okay. And so was it, what sort of results did you see with the personal trainer?
Honestly, not too much. I probably like dropped a couple of pounds and went up a little bit in terms of the amount of weight I was lifting. But, I think his mindset was like, okay, here's this woman, so let's give her lighter weights. And
I got you.
So it wasn't, it wasn't anything difficult. It was almost like we were just kind of hanging around and chatting, and I was like,
I got you. Awesome. And so, from, the philosophy, the trifecta that we focus on is having something that's comprehensive. And, a big part of that is the workout. The workout's a one piece, but there's so many free workouts that you can find everywhere. So, that's not just it when you're really talking about creating change. The other piece for us has always been about nutrition and accountability. That has been the biggest bridge, or the most effective bridge to build a gap. I should say to bridge the gap between someone wanting to lose weight or achieve a certain goal and actually achieving the goal, right? And if you can talk a little bit maybe about, the accountability that you're giving now, or even like what you have received here, and, how that has played a part in you ultimately being someone that went from not being as consistent to being like super consistent. That would be awesome.
Yeah. I guess to go back to talking about the coaching, especially, in the gym setting, just having somebody who, has your back and believes in you, even when you kind of don't believe in yourself, is huge. When you're, for example, like bench pressing and you're doing 25 pounds, but then, I have you looking at me and you're like, no, you can increase that by 10 pounds.
Yeah.
In my head, I'm like, no, that just seems like too much, but okay, I'll give it a try. And, and lo and behold, you can do it. So it's really that, having somebody who believes in you. But to also talk about the nutrition piece, it's always hard to start a new way of eating. I'm not going to say diet because, everybody here who's listening has been on a diet and they don't work. So really shifting your mindset around a new way of eating is just difficult because, food makes you feel good. You eat when you're happy, when you're sad, when you're bored. So, shifting your mindset around that is difficult. So having a coach who will check in on you once in a while and just, say, how's it going with the meal plan? What are you struggling with? What can we tweak? What do you need help with is like hugely helpful.
Awesome. And so, Leah, what I want to do now is start to, you're our first 2-time challenge winner, right? And so with that, all success and things come with a story, right? And so with that being said, with that early on with being with us, you had your fair share of kind of yo-yoing and up and down, right? And so what I really want to hone in on as we kind of start to wrap things up is, what was that transition like for you? And this is why I think it's so powerful for you and empowering even for you as a coach, because you've been there and done that, right? And you have a level of insight that even though I've been here forever, like I just don't have that same insight. I was never a member of JCF, right? And so like, I just think you have a certain level of insight and that I just don't have, that I think is very special. And so with that being said, you have been our first 2-time challenge winner. And there's been some yo-yoing. And so like, what was that like for you? If you can kind of go back, what do you feel like was the culprit of that? What do you feel, and if you can take me through like how you felt, we may have some kids, but busting your butt, and then kind of regressing and like, maybe having, some of the confidence and things also kind of take a hit. If you can share, I know I said a lot there, but if you can share and give some insights that would be great.
Yeah, definitely. With JCF, I've had a lot of different day ones because of all of the yo-yoing and regressing. So like we were talking about, I'm a little bit of a type A personality. So if you give me instructions, I will follow them to the letter, try to be as perfect as I can so that I can get from point A to point B. So, when I'm in one of those programs, I am, either counting my macros to within like one macro of proteins. I'm trying to be perfect in order to reach the goal. So then, the end of the challenge comes and I've reached my goal and it feels amazing. And in my head, I'm like, oh yeah, this is so easy. I can totally continue this. But if I don't have something, that goal I'm working towards, and I don't have that, Darius on my shoulder, looking over my shoulder the entire time because the program, is finished, then that's when I start rolling back down the hill. So that happened to me, more times than I care to admit. So really, within the past couple of years, I really had to kind of take inventory of myself and say, what is going on here? Why is this pattern repeating itself over and over and over again? And it really is what I was kind of touching on before about that notion of perfection, that I really had to, examine myself and just realize that nobody's perfect. You can't be perfect all the time, that, life happens, things get in the way, but, all you can do is to try your best and to just be consistent.
Yeah.
So I had to just give up that notion of perfection, perfection in, hitting my macros every day, or that notion of that ideal, wanting to fit into a size 2 jeans. I had to, just take stock of myself and just realize that, I am perfectly great with the way that I am.
I love that. I love that. And so I'm a big believer in, like, everything we do is just feedback. Like the outcomes are feedback. And I think sometimes we get so wrapped up in an outcome, and I think we're losing the true value in this journey. Because if you're not elevating as a person, if you're not becoming a better human being, becoming more disciplined, becoming more, developing a greater level of grit, like persevering, all of these things, it's only a matter of time before you sort of go back to where you were. And so with that being said, like, I believe all of this is feedback. I also believe there's no failures, it's just lessons. And so I'm curious to know, with the regressions and the yo-yoing that you had, what lessons did you learn from those things?
The lessons that I learned, I think I learned that that the motivation has to, at some point come from within yourself. You have to keep revisiting that why, because during, when we're in one of those JCF programs, you do have a coach who's kind of holding your hand along the way. Just, in case you fall back, they're there to help catch you. Once the program is done, you're kind of on your own. So you have to, that motivation cannot come from the outside, from that coach looking over your shoulder. That needs to come from somewhere inside. Yeah.
Awesome. I love that. Again, that's the only that I think you kind of answered my next question I wanted to ask was, like I said early on, there has been the yo-yoing, and then over the last several years, you've been able to maintain. And I'm just curious to know, why is that? But I think you answered the question. It went from this intrinsic thing that you were chasing to something that was part of who you are, right? Like, you truly embodied it, and like your identity shifted around that. That's what it sounds like. And so that's the only way we sustain what we have gained, is by shifting our identity, right? And I'm sure right now you 100% identify as someone that's strong, as someone that is fit, as someone that is healthy, where before 2014 and before, you probably didn't identify as that. This journey was all about, what can it do for me? Like, how can I get to this weight loss, lose those 10, 15 pounds, vanity pounds? And so that which is external, that's outside of you, right? But when you talk about strength, you talk about happiness and confidence, that's within you. And so that is the driving force, that I think has been, kind of that I'm pulling together. You kind of answered my next question there. So Leah, what would you tell someone that is watching this, someone that may see this later on, that is, that's yo-yoing? This is their experience. This has been their thing, and they feel like they're just doomed to never ever have the success that they want to have when it comes to body composition, when it comes to weight loss, when it comes to, getting out of their postpartum, or I should say, clothing. Like, what would you tell someone that may be watching this and that's like feeling stuck?
I would say, number one is to know your why. So why do you want to drop those pounds? Why, what is your inner motivation? You need to like really dig deep and figure out why you're doing this, because if you keep on chasing weight loss, that's not really going to last, because, but also you have to, and I've said this throughout, just let go of that perceived notion of what you think your perfect self is going to look like, because nobody is perfect. We can get better every day, but that idea of perfect, you're 99.9%, I'm sure that you're not going to get there. So you have to, just kind of kick that out the door. I lost my train of thought. I was going to say
That's
something
okay.
else, but
It's all good. It's all good. So just, if it helps to jog your memory a bit, we were just, if there's anything you would tell someone that may feel like they're stuck, and there has been this constant, this perpetual thing that's happening with the yo-yoing, they do well for a few weeks and then they fall off, life happens, any sort of advice or that you can give them, or insights for any of those people?
Yeah. I would also say it's helpful to just, at least starting out, to have somebody on your team, like a cheerleader. It could be a friend, a coach, reach out to one of us, a spouse, a child, whoever who is in your corner, because life will get in the way. You will fall down. It's helpful to just have somebody there who will help pick you up.
Yeah. And to piggyback off of that, I'm a big believer in that. And I think coaching and accountability and support is like insurance. It's like when you really need it, that's when it really matters the most. And so, like, we all go through these ebbs and flows of, obviously the summertime, everyone is motivated to start moving. Like, there's going to be so many people not moving because the days are getting shorter, it's getting colder. And like, this is the time where you really need to be locking in. And this is the time that makes it all worthwhile to invest in yourself and have a coach and have the support and have the accountability, but also more importantly, to have that perspective outside of yourself. Because this is the time where you're supposed to be getting ready for summer right now, right? Everybody likes to get started in the spring. It's too late at that point. So, but with that being said, I want to wrap everything up, Leah, with some very tactical things that someone that is vegan or transitioning to vegan, some very tactical things. Like, I want you to come up with things that people can leave right now and implement and start seeing results, right? And that's when I say tactical, like we getting very granular here, that someone can leave tonight and start implementing and have success. So what are 4 to 5 steps that someone can do, male, female, that's vegan? A lot of these principles probably cross over to someone that's not vegan as well. But what they can do to start losing weight now.
Okay, well, number one, I would say, and this goes for everybody, is your water intake. Like, number one, water intake. It's going to help flush out all of the bad stuff. And if you're dehydrated, that affects your metabolism if you're not drinking enough. So that's for everybody.
Correct, baby.
Hi. So water, I know you say this all the time, half your body weight in ounces.
Half your body weight. Let's go.
Yeah. So I would say that's number one, an easy thing to start off with.
We got to increase water intake. Can we get that up here? Increase water intake. Half of your body weight in ounces of water. You're going to take your weight, cut it in half. That's how many ounces of water you should be drinking. All right. What else you got?
So another one that I I did say before, especially for the plant-based folks, is to find a good vegan protein shake. So the one that I use, I'm not affiliated with them at all. I use Vega is the name of the company, but I use their Vega Sport brand. One scoop is 30 grams of protein, and I think there's only like 5 or 6 grams of carbs. So it's fairly low in carbs compared to the protein. So like a good protein shake that you can supplement with.
And how often should they have it, and when should they have it? We got to get very practical and very granular. No, it's not a test. I just want something. I want someone to leave and be like, okay, I do this, I do this, I do that, and boom. That's what I want. So if you can share like when they take it, that would be awesome.
Okay. So, and we've said this many times before at the gym, it's 25 to 35 grams of protein, which you can get through your protein shake, right after you work out, like within 30 minutes of your workout, especially if you're strength training. So get that protein.
Okay, awesome.
Is
this the final one, or is there 2 more?
I think I just have one more.
That's fine.
But, this is kind of an overarching thing that I mentioned again earlier, for the vegan and plant-based folks, is to just watch your carbohydrate intake, just because if you're eating any sort of vegan protein, it's going to have carbs along with it. So you just want to mind your intake.
Yeah. Awesome. All done?
Yes.
All right. So gang, you all have 3 takeaways that you can do right this second, tonight, and start having some success, okay? Number 1 is water intake. All right, you want to have half of your body weight in ounces of water. Number 2, Coach Leah said, was finding yourself a good vegan plant-based protein that you can supplement with, anywhere between 25 and 35 grams. Okay, and then being mindful of your protein to carb intake, so not overdoing it. And this is one that I see quite a bit, overshooting the carbohydrates. Okay, and gang, carbohydrates, which means it's going to hold on to water weight. So if you're trying to lose weight and you consume too many of them, guess what you're going to do? You're going to hold on to a lot of water weight. All right, gang? And so just be mindful of that. So, Leah, thank you so much. And before we get going, gang, just hold on. We have a few more minutes. We're going to open it up for any questions here. Okay. And while that is happening, I forgot we have a raffle. We're going to be raffling off. Give me 1 second. Judah, give me a cup real quickly, my man. A bowl. Hurry. So we're going to be raffling off. In the meantime, while we get these things done behind the scene, okay? If there is any questions that anyone has, Leah, I want to thank you, my friend, my teammate, for sharing, giving up such good insights here and giving us your time. I really appreciate that. Melissa S., I want to thank you. Melissa S. is our producer behind the scenes, having all of the good stuff coming up. Roxanne, what's up? And so I want to thank you all. Thank you all for tuning in. I really appreciate. Cora, what's up? I got family down in Louisiana tuning in. Thank you all for tuning in. We're going to be doing this. We got West Coast tuning in. Thank you all. But gang, let's spend the next 2 minutes. All right. If there's any questions that come in, I'll give it maybe another minute or so if no questions come in. And what I want to do is honor. We have a drawing here. And gang, we launched a new app. Okay, it's JCF Bootcamp in your respective app stores. Really excited about this. We recently just made the move to go 100% remote training. While there's obviously a hard decision and huge decision that was made, I'm really excited about where we're going. we now have the ability to work with anyone in the world that has, essentially, if you have Wi-Fi or even just have a smartphone and can download the app. So I'm really excited about that. So we had some reviews, and I just want to honor those people that have taken their time to leave us a review and a rating. And what we're going to be doing is putting some names in the bucket. Thank you, my main man Judah, for coming through. And by the way, anyone that has seen Judah, he's like almost taller than me now. Not a long ways to go, but funny how fast time goes, gang. All right, so what we're gonna do? Any questions come through? Oh, Roxanne, we're in North Carolina, made the move. I love it. All right, Cora, let me give some shout outs. What up, Cuzzo? All right, who else? Kizzy, thank you for tuning in. Mayday, Kathy K, Max, thank you for joining in. Doris. Oh, a lot of folks call me Doris sometimes. Cousin, thanks for tuning in. Cuzzo, appreciate it. All right, gang, so what we're gonna do? Judah, come pick one. So I'm gonna have Judah here. We have everyone just kind of go into the bowl here, okay, gang? And I don't see that, doesn't seem to be any questions that came in. Oh, hold on. Cora, that we have to understand what diabetes is, and so obviously there's a insulin or lack thereof response to the insulin. So one of the things I would recommend, and again, this is consult with your doctor, with your mom and your doctor first. But I would look at is switching, just taking a look at what sort of how much carbs your mom is having, and focus kind of what we said, maybe having a diet that may be more lean proteins and vegetables, and some, maybe replacing some healthy fats with the carbohydrates. So instead of having maybe some rice, maybe have some good sources of some avocado or any sort of nuts or something like that, is what I would recommend. But obviously, listen, we can talk a little bit more about that. So you can just hit me up in DM and we can schedule some time to speak about that, okay? So sorry to hear that. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to be having my main man, Judah, man, pull one, close your eyes. Pull one. Come on, man. So who's going to be the winner of our equalizer? We have Doreen. Doreen is going to be the winner of our equalizer bars, okay? So Doreen, I know where to find you. I'm only joking. But let's make sure we connect on you having Doreen Dimian, on you having the right, us having the right mailing address so we can get that out to you ASAP. Yes. All right, gang? So thank you all so much for tuning in. If you all have any questions, okay, if you think we can help with anything, right? What I suggest is that let's schedule some time to have a call, what we call a fitness and nutrition strategy session, to speak a little bit more. And we're going to throw up a link here that you can find. Congratulations. Yes, Doreen. Huge shout out. Okay. So that is where you can go to schedule a fitness and nutrition strategy session. All right. And so that way we can talk about your goals. We can talk about any struggles that you have, and really lay out a game plan that's going to be for you to get you from where you are and where you want to be. Gang, thank you all for giving me over 60 minutes of your time. Leah, thank you for sharing your time. I really appreciate it. Melissa, thank you so much, behind the scenes, getting everything going. Gang, you all have a beautiful night. Okay, let's keep winning. All right, later.